Aisling Quinn, digital entrepreneur. Thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. So I've called you a digital entrepreneur because maybe it's not so easy to describe you, because you've actually got a couple of businesses going on right now. And the most recent one I've come across is Sweat25, which looks really exciting. But then as we got chatting, I realized that you've got some arguably even more exciting projects going on concurrently. So I'll allow you to introduce yourself, perhaps.
Okay, yeah. So Sweat25 is an online fitness platform that I really just set up as a response to what was going on in the world. Obviously it's a very testing time for us all, and our health and well-being is being prioritized more than ever. So really, it was just about setting up an online platform where people could come and work out in a safe, controlled, and fun, interactive environment. Friend of mine, Connor, he's a certified athletic therapist, and he works with a lot of football teams and rugby teams. And when everything got shut down, he was out of work, like so many other people. So that's kind of how it all got started. I'll tell you a bit more about my digital marketing background and stuff in a little while. But I knew how to get him online. I'm used to working with video conferencing tools and stuff. So I knew I could get him set up. And so once I did it for him, and it was working well for him, it meant that I could expand it out and offer it to more instructors and bring, I suppose, more clients on board than people like me who are kind of stuck at home and used to getting out to the gym more, or going out and playing football or doing different things, to give more people, I suppose, a way or an outlet that they get to exercise with a group and with qualified professionals.
That's awesome. Yeah, this COVID-19 it's really changed everything, and unfortunately a lot of the effects of it are going to last for quite a while, and the social distancing is a huge issue. It's a kind of a two-sided problem, because the instructors can't instruct or couldn't instruct, and then the individual maybe is finding it difficult to keep motivated. So if I've understood correctly, so you initially wanted to solve the problem for your friend, and then you recognized that there was a business opportunity that was wider than just helping one person.
Yeah, that was it. And I suppose, it came from a really organic place. I didn't even see it really as a business opportunity. It was more a good thing to do. And, I would have read a lot of books and, trying to get into that entrepreneurial space, and, like Simon Sinek's, start with why. And the why was really obvious for this one. It's trying to help as many people as possible, be them in the fitness industry or physios or, yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, whatever they may be, but also to help, you or I, and, keeping us active during this time when I suppose, we are locked up at home. It is tough. I'm living with 4 other adults, my family are all here, and we're on each other's toes constantly. So yeah, it's been a really positive and rewarding experience. And I'm quite lucky that it's going really well. And it will it continue on past this when life gets back to whatever the new normal is? I don't know. I mean, I hope so, but I'm certainly kind of not really looking that far just yet. Let's get through this first, I think.
Absolutely, 200%. And in terms of what you've built so far, have you been able to repurpose off-the-shelf tools, or have you had to do any proprietary engineering or some combination?
It's a really good question. I'm looking into that at the moment to build out something myself, or get a team involved. So I'd work with my CTO and the other companies. He's built like phenomenal platforms across the globe for years and years. So if I was going to do something bespoke, he's where I'd start. But no, it's literally all been off the shelf. So the likes of Squarespace and using Zoom, Acuity scheduling, and then just getting the message out there via social media. So it's actually, I suppose, the crux of it was in the manual effort of getting the website built and getting it up there and getting the message out there that we were open for business. That was probably, it was more the manual side of it, as opposed to it being this, excellent bespoke tech platform.
And did you have a PR drive behind that growth, or did you leverage your existing PR? Maybe that's a good time to start to talk a little bit about your own digital marketing background.
Yeah. So I suppose, so Valerie Rowe is my aunt, and she has a great PR business. So she put out a press release for me and got me some initial traction I suppose, on, you know, on national TV and that kind of thing. But yeah, really, from a digital perspective, so I work in another company called VideoRankMe, and we've developed the world's first Google-approved video ranking technology for page one results on Google and YouTube. So they're achieved extremely quickly. So I actually, yeah, I did up a little video on the platform, was able to publish it, and it was really funny. So the business was a week old, and we were ranking ahead of Joe Wicks on YouTube. So
No way.
yeah, shouldn't have been, but you know, we got there.
So that's really, really interesting. So I don't know a huge amount about YouTube, but I'm very fortunate that I've managed to use the platform for the last couple of years. And I've also been in and out of Google quite a lot. I'd be very fortunate that I used to work beside Google, and they were very, very supportive of the local community. But for somebody that's maybe watching the video and they don't know anything about YouTube, they associate YouTube with search. I don't know if it's common knowledge that YouTube is or was the second biggest search engine in the world. So there's a huge market opportunity there. But maybe to explain a little bit to people how they're getting found and how you can push up the ranking and how this technology is helping to automate that.
Sure. Yeah. So lots of people would engage in SEO or search engine optimization, and there's kind of an intuitive understanding or a good feeling that it's good to be on page one. And I suppose when people look to their own search habits, you know, do you ignore Google ads a little bit? Do you click onto page two? Probably not. So getting into that prime organic space is really crucial to a brand who's looking to grow their online visibility and to drive traffic to their website. So for us, say there's 200 processes that Google looks at when it's deciding what gets ranked on, or 200 factors when Google's saying, you know, what will we rank on, you know, what's number one, what's number two. And typically it's the big brands or the ones that invested a lot of money in their SEO. So what our tech does is it has automated all of those processes in a split second. So it's new, it's video SEO, and what we're doing is we're just giving Google and YouTube what they want. So Google loves video. It's really prioritizing video now, and obviously with it owning YouTube, you know, it's promoting YouTube content more and more. So this Google carousel that we're seeing now, you know, particularly for the how-to questions, you know, how do I tie a shoelace? You'll get 3 videos pop up. So that's what we're working on. It's giving Google what it wants, but also then bringing the brand along on the journey as well.
Yeah, because just to call that out, that certainly 2 years ago, I'm sure it's still the case now, YouTube was the biggest search engine in the world for how-to and fix. So there's a huge, huge opportunity there.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube's only growing. I think it's 400 hours or 500 hours of content is uploaded to YouTube every single minute.
Really? Wow.
Which is just crazy stuff. It's hard to think. So when you look at those stats and you think, geez, how is my brand, or how are we ever going to, you know, get to the top of that when there's just so much, it's so crowded. And people are using it more and more, using YouTube more as a search engine, which typically wouldn't have been my search habits anyway. You know, I would have always gone there to watch music or funny videos or stuff, but it has become much more of a search engine and an answer engine as much as anything else.
That's really awesome. And a lot of people maybe would aspire to be able to get to the top of the search engine, but they don't realize that there's an awful lot that's going on in the background. And I don't know if many people are using technology. Had you come across other technologies? Because I think you said yours is the first one in this space. That's quite interesting. I'm kind of shocked to think that as big as the world is, nobody had figured out a way of beating the YouTube algorithm.
Well, yeah, it's a fair point. What I'd say is, so we're the first Google approved, so that, you know, we haven't actually come across anybody else doing this, but we've got a contract with Google and YouTube to do it, which kind of makes a big difference. But you can do it manually, so it's not like we're booking the system. It's just,
absolutely.
We're doing it quicker than what, you know, you or I would be able to do ourselves.
Absolutely. And how did you figure out, or how did you think that you would do this in the first place? Was it kind of something that happened and there was an aha moment, or did you just sort of always know that this is a good thing to do?
So VideoRankMe was born out of another company called MoShoppa. So MoShoppa, we create online stores for people. It's an e-commerce company whereby it's turnkey e-commerce platform for people to set up and launch their own online stores. We have, I think it's over 1 billion products and 10,000 brands on board. So, you know, we allow people to sell the current stock of all those brands, and the brands will deliver and then give the shopkeeper a commission. So that's kind of how we started life. So MoShoppa is Irish for my shop. Good old Irish name. So that's when we were going to market. We tested the market in India. We had some really good people involved, really good Irish people who've been here and done it all before and like scaled up companies. So that was their advice. Test the market in India. It was a semi-automated platform at that time, but that was okay. We went back, more funding, made it all AI, which I suppose was a whole other discussion point. But then
automate the drudgery.
Yeah, exactly. Because actually, and it was funny, it was a real simple process. People will come up and they would come onto the site and they'd basically fill out a form. This is the kind of site I want. I want a sports site, or I want to start selling fashion, or I want to sell sunglasses, and that's what we would create. So it was really manual and clunky. So now after this last funding round, we've been able to automate all of that. So you go on and you just select what you want. It's far more streamlined, and probably what you would expect of the market today. Anyway, it really just stepped us up. But sorry, I'm digressing. The reason why VideoRankMe came about was, say somebody, we're launching into the States now with MoShoppa, and say they're selling the latest stock of Apple, or they're selling the latest stuff of Nike. How are they ever going to sell beyond their friends and family? Or, okay, they can do a campaign on social media, but on the search rankings, on Google or on YouTube, how are they ever going to compete?
Was it the CTO that came up with this solution?
Yeah, he said about finding out how to help people get up the Google rankings and how to get up the YouTube rankings. And when he discovered that, he could do it for our shopkeepers in MoShoppa, suddenly it became evident that it was applicable to all streams of business, all industries, anybody looking to grow online.
That's amazing. And actually, I'm very fortunate that I happen to have a couple of friends that set up a company called Pointy, and they recognize that it's a huge issue for what are sometimes described as mom and pop retailers, that they're not online, but they want to maybe have the opportunity to be online. And according to Mark Cummins, who was one of the founders, like, it's $1 trillion opportunity, and it's something that's very interesting for Google, because Google don't want to be an Amazon, but at the same time, it's very interesting for them to try and make some money off the back of that industry. And the way I've expressed that is it probably sounded a little bit clinical, but the reality of it is that businesses have to make money. So it's very interesting for Google if they can better monetize through that traffic passing through their website.
That's it. And I suppose for them, as you say, it's just giving them another avenue. Like, if people are searching for these things, if they want to see them, then, if Google makes that available to them, why shouldn't they, I suppose, be earning from that as well? So that's what we see, when people ask us, why are Google letting you do this with VideoRankMe? Why are they letting you put your video at the top of Google when it's only just been launched? And what about all those other companies who, are working on SEO for years? Is that cheating? And it's not. And for Google, it just means, that's an ad that, that's a video that can have an ad placed on it. And suddenly that's another revenue stream. So I think particularly, with the guys in Pointy as well, with the shopping, potentially that's another revenue stream for Google as well.
Absolutely. And to that point, that one of the things that Pointy was doing was enabling somebody to find something. So a practical example, I was looking for I thought it was just a simple battery, those kind of flat cell batteries. And it turned out I couldn't find them anywhere, and I could have it from Amazon, but I couldn't ship it for some kind of shipping restriction. And I ended up finding it in a relatively local hardware store. So that's what their product was enabling people to do, to just get found. But your product is enabling people, with MoShoppa, is enabling people to do a whole lot more. If I've understood correctly, it's enabling somebody who doesn't have an online presence to have an online shop. And that's very interesting. Was there any sort of particular problem that you were trying to solve there? Or was it, again, that you noticed this opportunity? Or how did that come about?
I suppose when we looked at the drop shipping market and the affiliate market, there's some really big players in that market, and they would typically have, you bring in the Alibaba stuff, or you have these imported goods that probably weren't the best, but there were people who are really good at selling them, and they got them out there. And so when we looked at this, I should say as well, so my dad is one of the founders, our CTO is another founder, and another guy who's worked in retail for a long time. And so they had these relationships with the brands, and so they knew that, okay, if they could pull in the feeds so that they could sell the current stock, I suppose that was a new market opportunity, a new way of for the brands, or for the, whether it's Apple or Adidas or whoever, for them, it's just another revenue stream. It's just another affiliate model for them. But for people, for the moms and pops at home, yeah, it's giving them access to really top quality products that they otherwise wouldn't be able to buy in or sell or distribute themselves.
Awesome. So is MoShoppa then giving people an opportunity to get involved in the dropshipping industry, or is it more focused on augmenting existing bricks and mortar stores?
We have the functionality for both. I think primarily our first protocol is to say, if you want your own online business, that you can do that. And it is about getting involved in the drop shipping, in that, you don't have to worry about stock delivery or returns, that it's all kind of handled for you by the brands. You just have to get the sale and then you get your commission. But also we have that ability as well for current retailers who have their own stock to upload that as well. Now there's other platforms out there who can do that sort of thing as well. But I guess by marrying the two, what we find is, if you're in store and they've run out of your jacket there, and they say, oh, it'll be 6 weeks before we have it back in, we'll give you a call then, and suddenly they've lost the sale. Whereas if they could show you straight away, you have access to all the MoShoppa inventory, you can go, oh look, we can have it in store for you in 2 days time, would you come back in? Or we can get it delivered to your house. So there's a lot more you can do with it. It's just kind of offering more to the retailers, to the bricks and mortar retailers.
It's really awesome. And then looping back to the algorithm running VideoRankMe, that makes a hell of a lot of sense, that technology is very much multifaceted, multifunctioning. It's, at the end of the day, it's about getting people found, but that capability or that capacity can be used across multiple verticals. And it's really interesting to see you guys making the most of that opportunity. That's very exciting.
Yeah, we think so. We've got a good chance now, particularly, so MoShoppa is it's an easier way, it's an easier route to marketing, that it's just digital marketing, it's Facebook campaigns, it's a bit of Google, it's some YouTube, and it's, possibly some influencer work as well. And so that's I think there's lots of other companies who have been able to do that. And, we've been able to kind of look at other strategies and other strategies of other companies, and go with that. And it's been easier. Whereas VideoRankMe, it's more placing it with the right people, going to different marketing agencies, going to bigger brands and saying, how can you see yourselves, intertwining this as part of your overall strategy online. And so it's been something, I suppose it's been a learning curve for us as well, really understanding what we have and how to get the best out of it.
Absolutely. I think it's very interesting that for many businesses, myself included, this coronavirus is a little bit of a disaster. I'm not trying to make light of it, but the reality of it is that it's so serious that if we were to get kind of depressed about it, and there are a lot of people that are struggling, but for me personally, exercise is actually a very important way of getting through things. And I've just been out for a mad run and a bit of a beasting weight session, so personally I'm in very good spirits right now. But look, seriously, coronavirus is a huge challenge, but it seems that in your case, with all three businesses, obviously the third business, Sweat25, has come out of this challenge. But even the first two businesses, with VideoRankMe and with MoShoppa, they're actually probably very well placed to really help people, and as a result to do very well as a function of coronavirus. The world has changed forever, probably, with the way things are, and we're going to see a huge uptick in e-commerce as a result, and also online video consumption has really jumped massively.
Yeah, you're dead right. And I suppose you don't want to be opportunistic at this time. It doesn't feel right. So, and it's probably worth mentioning. So with VideoRankMe, we've launched an initiative called Stay Visible, where just for Irish firms, or maybe we will go international with it, but particularly in the first instance with Irish companies, to help with their online presence. So we're launching a video for them. They just go onto the site, I think it's stayvisible.video, and if they give us some details, and we'll kind of help them and give them a boost at this time. So I think it's just trying to, I suppose, at this time, come together as an industry and see, how can we help, what can our tool do that's going to benefit people at this time. So that's certainly been our tact with VideoRankMe at the moment, just to, because people's marketing budgets have been slashed. People are losing their jobs. There's obviously a health crisis. So there's far bigger concerns going on than, should they try out a new video tool for their SEO. That's, so I suppose being mindful of that, and hopefully then when there is a bounce back, people will remember how they were treated and like what they saw at the time when they didn't have the budget to then be able to come on board with us later, I guess.
That's amazing. So to give an example then, if say I was running a small retailer, like say a small pet shop, but I have no online presence. So if I come to you guys right now, what can you do for me? Can you help me to build a video, or should I make my own video? Or
yeah, so we have a video creation tool as part of the platform. Now, we found that the kind of the bigger brands, they have their own. It's all very, there's brand guidelines, and it's all very well managed. Or, I'm sure like the videos that we produce wouldn't be the kind of videos that you would produce. So there is I suppose they do a job and they rank, which is, it's kind of what people are looking for at the moment. So if you have a video, we can use that. If you don't, it's a simple kind of creation tool with stock footage or your own footage.
Okay, great. So just to break that down then, if I was to use your tool right now, if I'm that pet shop, could I just make some little clips of the shop and then upload them to your platform, and then it kind of edits it together? Is that the idea?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the way we've worked it is, so we have a brilliant customer support team based down in Cork, and they're actually creating the videos for people. So they basically fill out a form and add the stuff, and then we generate the video for them. So there's very little work involved. And
is that done with an algorithm, or is there somebody actually editing in the background?
It's just automated, yeah. So
really, that's amazing.
Yeah, now, as I said, they're not the amazing videos that you would produce, but they do a job, and they get your brand out there, which I suppose is a good thing.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And like, there's kind of, I remember being at a Facebook event a few years ago, and the lady Olivia Leonard, who was running small business for Facebook and Instagram EMEA, and she made the point of the jump from text to visual and visual to video. So right now video is super hot. So it's not necessarily about the quality of the video, it's the messaging. And if you can capture a real kind of human interaction, that's the mission critical element. It doesn't have to be Hollywood.
Helps though if it's Hollywood, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everyone loves explosions and puppies. Awesome. So it's very interesting as well that you guys have a CTO involved, because quite often you hear in Ireland, especially, of people that are trying to do online businesses, and then when you strip back, you realize that actually all the development is being outsourced, and there's always a concern then about how sustainable that is. How did you guys meet up with your CTO in the first place? You mentioned your father. Was it you and your father suddenly said, let's become digital entrepreneurs? Or what was the inflection point that got you into these incredibly interesting spaces?
Yeah, it's actually, so my dad would say that he got approached at a funeral. But now, jury guys.
Okay.
So Mike, our CTO.
It's a good Irish way of doing things. Sorry.
Yeah. So Mike, he's very entrepreneurial himself. He's built up lots of businesses, and so he's, whilst he's very techie and nerdy in that regard, he's also got a really good business brain. So he actually approached Dad. So before MoShoppa was MoShoppa, it was more focused on creating sites for big influencers. So Dad would have had a good in with lots of like the football clubs or different sporting entities. So that was kind of the way it started out. And then for me, I finished up my law degree at UCD, and that summer I went away traveling and kind of just had a change of heart about going into a career in law. So went to the office to help out for a few weeks, do some photocopying or, create a few slideshow presentations or whatever, just literally whatever had to be done. And that was, it was 3 years ago. They still can't get rid of me.
No way. That's amazing. So you very much organically grew into the business then?
Yeah. So MoShoppa was kind of, I wouldn't say my baby, but that's what kept me there. I helped in the creation of that and coming up with the whole concept. So then, I was invested then in it, not financially.
That's awesome. A lot of sweat equity though.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, and then in terms of the marketing skills, did you do any courses, or did you just kind of figure stuff out? And then what would be the top advice you would have for, I guess after a couple of years of the learnings here, for somebody else that's thinking of starting out in business?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I didn't actually take any courses, but we had some really brilliant people in and around us. So Felicity McCarthy from Spark Digital, she's she's ex-Dell, ex-Facebook, really good background and really knows her stuff. And then Sonia Flynn is our senior consultant. So she's also ex-Facebook, ex-Google. I think she went over to SoundCloud in Berlin. So she, I got to work, because it was a small company, I was fresh out of college working on a one-to-one basis with these women. So that certainly, being able to, I suppose, have mentorship from people like that and people of that caliber really helped. But in terms of advice, I think it's just getting down and dirty and actually, learning and really, going to YouTube or buying a book and just getting stuck in and having that work ethic. I was really good at doing what I was told, particularly in the early days. I've got a bit of an attitude now. But so if they said, do this, I would do it to the letter. And then, I would listen to their feedback and I would just, not copy them, but adopt what they were saying and figure out how their brain works and how they approach different things. And then that's kind of shaped then how I approach things. And it's kind of just an ongoing process, really, isn't it?
That's really interesting.
Yeah, but certainly work ethic. Yeah, you got to work very hard.
And where do you think you got that from? Is it in the genes, or you played a bit of football as well? Are you still playing football?
Yeah,
well,
I played
coronavirus aside.
Yeah, coronavirus aside, Gaelic football is my sport. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But yeah, so work ethic wise, so dad, certainly from him and my mum as well. She's very hardworking, but dad, in terms of like, taking on something that you know nothing about and then just figuring it out and kind of making something of it. Because whatever about myself learning about digital marketing, at least I'm a digital native and I can use Facebook and Instagram, and I had a base level, whereas he was coming in completely fresh. So yeah, he's I'd no excuses. If he's able to talk about a Google algorithm and SEO stuff, then I really have no excuse.
That's awesome. I think it's been really great to hear your stories. It's really exciting. You've got a wonderful energy about you, and it's really exciting to see how you've got three businesses that arguably are quite different, but equally they're very, very well connected. And it's easy to see how it's possible to run these concurrently. I'm sure it still takes a lot of energy, but you make it seem really easy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't sleep much, but it's I think it's going to be worth it in the end.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today. And are there any particular calls to action, like you mentioned already in the context of VideoRankMe, that you've got this opportunity for Irish businesses? What should they do? Should they go to the website?
Yeah, or even stayvisible.video would be a good place to start. Or yeah, you can go to VideoRankMe.com as well if you want to do more than one video or more than one campaign. But I think as a good starting point, stayvisible.video is a good place.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time this evening, and look forward to following the project into the future.
I might also just say, if anybody wants to work out on the platform, Sweat25.com, it's a really good and fun interactive place to get a bit of exercise in.
I heard Matt Cooper the other evening on Today FM commenting that it could be very difficult to stay. He was actually at Dervla Rourke, and he was asking her, how do you stay motivated? And I think if you can't find the motivation yourself, go to sweat25.com and you'll find the motivation there by the sounds of things. That's awesome.
Into shape. Brilliant.
Awesome. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much.